All right. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hopefully, you're having a great day. Let's talk about some baseball. We've got a nice slate here. It is getaway day. That's a cautious day. So, most of these teams, except for I think 5 teams, are going to be on getaway day today. So, let's talk about yesterday. Well, that was a rough day. That was a real rough day that showed some promise and some very funky things. But that is baseball. Cards and Pirates, Nerfy, check. Under 10, check. So we hit the first one of the day, which was great. Kyle Hendricks, under 3.5 Ks. He finished with 4. That one sucked. We got so much good CLV on that one. Phillies money line. This was just a back and forth, crazy game. If you'd have told me they hit the over in the third inning with Sale and Wheeler throwing, I wouldn't have believed you. But pretty wild game. Interesting play in the Phillies. Phillies had Sosa starting in left field for the first time. So he did one great thing, one bad thing. Robbed a home run. Good thing. And then he and Rojas, the center fielder, got confused on a fly ball and just let it drop right in front of him for a double. Then Wheeler walked the next guy. And then Sean Murphy hit a 3-run homer. So that stunk. And then the Phillies bullpen just was not good. Couldn't throw strikes. So Phillies ended up losing this one. That one hurt. Royals team total over 3.5. I had Royals money line on the card, took it off, went with team total. Of course, the money line hits, team total doesn't. So they ended up winning 2-1. Just could not get the job done with runners in scoring position. We just needed one clutch hit to cash this, and multiple instances where they just couldn't get it done. Shohei Ohtani, 2+ bases. He ended up with 1. He was taking gargantuan cuts. He was trying to park one. So that kind of stinks. He went 1 for 5. And then Orioles D-backs over 9. Couldn't have asked for a better start. Orioles put up 2 right away. D-backs get the bases loaded, no outs, and only get 1 run out of it. So, and then they went on a pretty substantial scoring drought. So ended up missing that one. It was at 7. So all in all, we had a very robust 1-5 day. So that sucked. Let's bounce back today. I've got 4 best bets and then a fun parlay for you guys. Let's start reviewing this card. First game on the card, Cardinals and the Pirates. We have Erick Fedde going up against Mitch Keller. It's going to be 45 degrees, pretty low humidity and high pressure, but the wind is going to be blowing out. Very, very slight breeze, but blowing out nonetheless. If we look at Erick Fedde in his last start against the Red Sox, wasn't good. He went 3 innings, gave up 5 hits, 6 earns, gave up 2 home runs, walked 4, K'd 4. Conversely, we go to Mitch Keller. Similar thing. Was not good. At home against the Yankees, went 3.2, 8 hits, 7 earned, no home runs actually. Walked 4, struck out 4. So I think we got 2 pitchers. Didn't have their best stuff in their last start. I think we're starting to see the offenses are kind of starting to turn around for both teams, really. Give me the over in this one. So that is one of my best bets, over 7.5. I think it ends up being something like 5-3, could end up being 5-4, somewhere in that neighborhood. So I don't necessarily want to pick a winner, but if I had to, I'm going Pirates minus a 102. That's where I'm at with that. We saw Paul Skeens had a really bad outing yesterday, in Paul Skeens land anyway. So that did not help them at all, as they ended up losing 5-3 yesterday. So I like to bounce back on the getaway day, get the dub in this spot. Not too worried about the hitting. I mean, these are 2 very hittable pitchers. If we look at the splits for Keller, about 50% fastball, 19% cutter. Then he throws a slider, mixes in a curveball and a change very, very rarely. If we look at Fedde, he is a fastball cutter guy as well. So both teams hit those pitches pretty well. So I do like runs in that contest. Next one's going to be the Yankees and the Tigers, the good old Yankees. On a bit of a skid here. Yankees are 6-5 now, so not good. They've lost 3 straight. Tigers have won 5 straight, so they're on a nice little streak. Max Fried, the lefty for the Yankees, going up against Jack Flaherty. Both of them are 1-0. Fried is rocking a 2.61 ERA. Jack Flaherty 2.38. The only thing that scares me about Fried is his K percentage is pretty low. It's about 19% versus Jack Flaherty's 27 coming into the season early here. Flaherty's walk rate's a little high though, so that does give me a little bit of hope for the Yankees today. But at minus 148. I just can't. There's no way I can put money on them. And given they rely so much on the long ball, and the weather is just not going to be great for them today. It's going to be 43 degrees, about a 9-mile-an-hour wind blowing in from right center, 34% humidity and high pressure. So that means we are not going to see home runs. In fact, home runs above average are going to be down 49% today. Runs down 18% projected. So I really just can't get behind this Yankees team if we can't count on the long ball. That is just their bread and butter. That said, Jack Flaherty throws about 48% fastballs. Yankees are one of the best fastball hitting teams in the world. And they hit the slider pretty well, which is his secondary pitch. So doesn't necessarily work out. That said, Tigers are hitting the fastball real well from lefties as well. And that is obviously free throws at about 60% of the time. Then he mixes in slider, curveball, changeup in there. I would lean the over 7 as the best bet in this one. I just don't want to trust it. The weather has just been absolutely wild. If we look at Flaherty, his last start, he's got one game against the Yankees, and that was back in 2023. And it was a good one. 6 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, walked 2, struck out 4. Last start versus the White Sox, he had a really good start. That said, it's the White Sox. If we look at Max Fried, he's got one game against the Tigers. It was back in 2024, and it was pretty good. 5.1 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, walked 3, struck out 6. So, like I said, lean Yankees. Can't get behind it, though. Not something I can bet. If I had to bet this game, I would bet the over 7 and see what happens in that one. Next game, Marlins and the Mets. This one got real interesting. We had an over-under of 7 yesterday, and they just destroyed that line. Max Meyer going up against Tyler McGill. McGill 2-0 on the season with a .87 ERA. Max Meyer 0-1 with a 3.09 ERA. McGill's had a great season, giving up opponent average of 139. Meyer, not terrible, 271 average. K rate's pretty high. It's actually higher than McGill's. Walk rate is about half of McGill's. So do I think the Marlins have a chance in this one? Maybe. It's getaway day. Weird things can happen. It's going to be 43 degrees. Wind's going to be blowing out slightly from right field. Low humidity and high pressure. So not good necessarily for carry. I will tell you the pitch splits they're not bad for the Marlins. McGill throws primarily just a four-seam fastball about 62.5% of the time. Marlins are hitting the fastball pretty well. Now, where they're deficient is against the slider, which is his secondary pitch that he throws about 33% of the time. This guy's pretty much a two-pitch pitcher, and the Marlins have really struggled against that pitch. If we look at Mayer, he's a junk ball guy. Only throws a fastball about 34% of the time. Throws a slider about 49% of the time. Changeup about 18% of the time. The Mets have struggled a little bit against the slider, but nothing for me to say McGill won't just go out and absolutely dominate today. He's got a 185 average against righties. Mayer struggled against righties, 400 average, giving up a 179 against lefties. Hard hit percentage pretty high, about 46% hard hit percentage. Exit velo really high at about 93. That said, McGill giving up some pretty hard hits himself and a 92 exit velo. So I would maybe, if I were a betting man, I'd maybe look at the over 7 given yesterday. I think the Marlins are able to squeak out a few runs. But again, it's kind of a weird weather day. So this one, I would take Mets money line. Ultimately, I think they get the job done. We're starting to see that offense kind of click, but it's way too juiced to take money line. But we will have that in our money line parlay. Our next game is going to be the Rangers and the Cubs. That was an interesting game yesterday. That was kind of back and forth, and then the Cubs kind of pulled away. At the end, we got Tyler Mahle going up against Shota Imanaga. Lefty versus righty matchup. Shota's 2-0 with a .98 ERA. Very good start to the season. That said, Mahle off to a good start as well. 1.35 ERA. He's got a K percentage of about 28%. That's very high for Tyler Mahle. He will not maintain that through the course of the year. Imanaga, very low K percentage, less than 15%. Now, Mahle's issue right now is walks. He's got a 21% walk percentage. So that is some pause for concern there. But his splits are great. He's given up a 200 average to righties, .77. It's a lefties. Shota, 0.77, sorry, to righties, 0.182 to lefties. So this kind of screams low scoring game, but we get a pretty high over under. It's going to be like 37 degrees. We're going to have about a 10 to 12 mile an hour wind blowing from left or from right to left, basically from first base side to the third base side. So we're pretty much getting a side wind here. This is a tricky one. Home runs are going to be down 24%, runs down 24%. So I would lean probably towards the first 5 under in this one. I think we should see some pretty good pitching in the first 5, and I don't necessarily trust the bullpen beyond that. So I would just go first 5. 2 decent pitchers right now. Fade them, or fade the runs. All right, next game, Padres and the Athletics. Good God, you cannot trust Dylan Cease. I think I said that yesterday. He's just not somebody I can get behind. That said, Padres come out, hang 3 right away against Springs, and then Dylan Cease gives up 9 runs. Gives up 9. He has 9 earned runs in the first inning. So it's just not a guy I can bet on because he just does stuff like that, and he goes through patterns where it'll be 2 or 3 games where he pitches really poorly, and then 2 or 3 games where he's excellent, but you can't pinpoint the ones. Today we got Randy Vasquez going up against Osvaldo Bido. Instantly, I can't get behind Vasquez. That said, a really good start to the year. He's 0-1, but he's got a 1.69 ERA. K percentage is always going to be low for this guy. He's like 11% K percentage, 21% walk percentage. Bido giving up an opponent average of 250. Now there's a course start in there, so this can be a little misleading, but actually pitched really, really good at course. He went 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, and struck out 5. If we look at Vasquez, his last game was at Chicago against the Cubs, went 4.2 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, and 2 Ks. That said, the wind was blowing in like crazy. So 2 earned runs, probably 4 or 5 on a normal day. Good weather today. We got 73 degrees. Pretty low humidity, and we've got high pressure, 9 mile an hour wind blowing in from left field. So wind is going to be blowing in. Bido is a fly ball pitcher to the utmost. 82% of his outs come via the fly ball. 63% of Vasquez's outs come via the fly ball. I would lean Padres in this one, -108. We're just getting good value for a significantly better team. So Bido is the better pitcher. I don't think it's a substantial difference, but there is definitely a pitching advantage towards the A's here. Give me the Dogs. Give me the Pods to end up taking this one home. All right, next play is going to be Orioles and the D-backs coming at us at 3:40 p.m. We've got Dean Kramer going up against Brandon Pfaadt. I like Pfaadt at home. There's going to be very minimal wind. It's going to be about a 3 mile an hour wind blowing slightly out. It is going to be a warm day. It's going to be between 86 and 90 degrees. I would assume we would have the roof open here. So should be a pretty good day. Should be a decent amount of runs. We've got an over-under of 9. I would lean over in the runs and give me the D-backs in this one. Pitch splits for Kramer just don't look good. He throws a fastball and a cutter. It's just 2 things that the D-backs tear up. And then his next pitch is going to be like a splitter sinker pitch, which D-backs also love that. So this is a D-back spot. I like them to get the job done today. All right, next game on the card is going to be the Reds and the Giants. Reds pull off a 1-0 win last night. That's 2 in a row for the old Red Legs. Nick Martinez going up against Justin Verlander. We just saw this matchup. Well, we didn't see this matchup, but we've seen these 2 guys face each other already against the respective teams. So Nick Martinez faced the Giants on 3:30 at Great American Ballpark. Went 6 innings, gave up 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 dingers, and 5 Ks. Martinez last start versus Milwaukee was okay. It wasn't great by any means. Went 4.2 innings, gave up 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 Ks. Justin Verlander faced the Reds on March 29th in Great American Ballpark. Went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits, 2 earned runs, and 5 Ks. Now, Verlander historically over the last couple of years has been very good on the road. He's been very bad at home. So you typically fade him at home. His last start versus Seattle was at home. He went 2.1 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, gave up a dinger, 2 walks, 2 Ks. I would lean Reds in this one. Martinez is He's not outstanding. He doesn't do anything overly great, but he's fairly consistent. So I like Reds, and I like the over in this game. We're going to have the wind blowing out. It's only going to be about 4 miles an hour. It's going to be a little cold, 55 degrees, but we are getting some high humidity, so that's going to help with carry. But then on the downside, we're also getting some high pressure, which decreases carry. So I would say a pretty average day. Give me runs in this one. I think this series has been pretty crazy in terms of the amount of runs. It just feels like one of these pitchers should get beat up. But I'm going, I'll go Reds again, plus 124. I just can't back Verlander at home at this price. So that's where I'm at with that. Next game of the card, Dodgers and the Nationals. Oh, the Dodgers, dude. What the hell? Robleski, if that guy's not in the minors by noon today, something's wrong. I mean, that guy's terrible. He was just giving up meatballs left and right. Landon Knack on the hill going up against Jake Irvin. Knack's just not someone I love, but I'll tell you, he's way better than Robleski. Way better. So this to me is a Dodgers game. They should win this game, but minus 180, given what we've seen, Nationals absolutely tearing the cover off the ball. I really can't get behind that, and I think the 9 might be a tad too high in my opinion. We are going to see, in terms of weather, we're going to see the wind blowing out. Home runs are going to be down about 21%, so that's a little bit concerning, but it's going to be 54 degrees, low humidity, high pressure. Yeah, give me the Dodgers in this contest. I don't necessarily want to go run line, so I just put them in our money line parlay today. All right, you could take team total over if you wanted. Maybe look at first 5 minus a half, but again, this Nats team's just hitting the ball pretty well. So not necessarily comfortable getting behind them right now. All right, next game is going to be the Astros and the Mariners. This is Hunter Brown going up against Luis Felipe Castillo. So the normal Castillo pitched yesterday. Pitched an absolute gem, by the way. And today we get the other one. So this is a Astros spot for me. Astros minus 125. Hunter Brown on the hill. If you guys don't know, Spencer Arrighetti broke his, I think his wrist or his right hand, something like that. So he's going to be out a little bit. But Hunter Brown should have a pretty solid day today. And I don't trust Castillo. Don't trust the Mariners bats. I don't think they're going to win another 2-1 game. So give me the Astros in this game. Next one, White Sox and the Guardians. We've got Sean Burke going up against Logan Allen. Logan Allen is a fade for me. This guy is not good. Got a 6.75 ERA. He's got an expected ERA of 10.72. Did not make that up. An expected ERA of 10.72. Sean Burke's got an ERA of 5.23, an expected ERA of 9.85. Give me the over in this one. Over 7, best bet, minus 122. Lock it in. Should be runs. I'm not going to let yesterday's lack of runs deter me from taking this today. We have a bit of a swirly wind. Yesterday we had the wind blowing in pretty hard. Today we've got this little tiny swirly wind, but it's very minimal in terms of the wind, like 2 to 4 miles an hour. It's projected to start in, so I think the first inning or two will have the wind blowing in slightly, and then by the third or fourth inning, wind's going to be blowing out. So we're getting a slight wind blowing out. It's 2 really bad pitchers. Over. I just cannot get behind them. I can't get behind necessarily any team to win this. The value is all on the White Sox. So White Sox team total over, White Sox to win the game, I think is the only way you can go. You cannot take the Guardians minus 184 with Logan Allen on the mound. That's just not, in no world can you do that. All right, Blue Jays and the Red Sox. Kevin Gausman going up against Tanner Houck. Should be a pretty decent pitching matchup. That said, I like runs today. We do have the wind blowing out. It's going to be cold. It's going to be very, very cold. It's going to be in the 30s. When you factor in the wind chill, it's going to be biting cold. So pitch splits look terrible for both of these guys. Blue Jays are hitting the fastball well. They hit the sinker well. So everything that Houck throws, they hit pretty well. Conversely, everything Gausman throws, Red Sox hit pretty well as well. So give me the over in this game. I would lean towards the Red Sox to win. Bounce back day after another bad crochet outing. Very interesting. Next game, Angels and the Rays. Yusei Kikuchi going up against Ryan Pepio. Angels with a hell of a comeback last night. Ended up getting it done. The Rays, wow, they absolutely blew that game. Leadoff triple, could not score a run in the bottom of the eighth. That was pretty wild. And then I think they blew it again in the ninth. So 2 back-to-back innings where they blew it. Pepio, okay, got a 2.45 ERA. He's just kind of a middle-of-the-road dude. Expected ERA of 4.38. Kikuchi's got a 4.50 ERA. The bet I love in this game is going to be Angels first 5 over 1.5. I love the way they're hitting the ball. Pepio is going to throw a ton of fastballs for them. I think they are going to be able to get some runs. I like runs in general in this game, but one of my best bets is Angels first 5 over 1.5. But I would lean Angels full game as well. All right, next one is going to be the Phillies and the Braves. We already talked about this game. So much heartburn. We've got Taijuan Walker going up against Grant Holmes. I can't back the Phillies with this guy. He's just not someone I can get behind. That said, if you look right now, his stats look pretty good. He's got a 0 ERA, an expected ERA of 3.17, going up against Grant Holmes with an expected ERA of 9.91, current ERA of 7.2. Has a really high walk rate. Grant Holmes is walking people 18% clip early in the season here, giving up about 1.8 home runs per 9. He is a fly ball pitcher. His pitch splits look terrible. I can't get behind the Phillies with Walker on the mound. Maybe a Phillies team total over. You can find it 3.5 on some books. It is a little juice, but I don't mind the over 3.5. My first inkling was to take the over after yesterday, but I still just can't trust this Braves team. They are very erratic with their offense, so not one I can necessarily get behind. I would lean slightly towards the over 8.5, but if I had to pick a winner, I would go back to the Phillies in this one, but I just can't put faith in Taijuan Walker. All right, next game here is going to be the Twins and the Royals. This is going to be Joe Ryan going up against Seth Lugo. Lugo, not great, man. Not great, and especially at home lately. If we just look back, last 5 home starts, it's just not good. Joe Ryan's going to give you a somewhat model of consistency, but he's going to throw a ton of fastballs, mix in a sinker and a slider every once in a while. But we see the Royals yesterday just could not get it done with runners in scoring position. We did have Pablo Lopez absolutely dealing, had to leave the game due to, I think, hamstring tightness. This is a twin spot in my opinion, so give me the Twins minus 108. We're going to fade Seth Lugo. Last game on this 15-game slate is going to be the Brewers and the Rockies. We saw the Brew Crew go to Pound Town last night. I love them do the same exact thing tonight. Antonio Senzatella is an absolute fade, in my opinion. Expected ERA of 6.58. That said, this guy has given up 19 hits, and he's given up a slew of hits, and yet somehow doesn't give up a ton of runs. I think that comes to an end tonight in Coors. So love the Brew Crew. Give me Brewers -1 for -120. Playing it a little safe. Could look at the run line at plus money, but I'm just going to take the Brewers -1 as one of my best bets. All right, let's get into the card and get you guys on your way. Appreciate you tuning in. First play, White Sox Guardians over 7. I already talked about it. Sean Burke, Logan Allen, 2 guys with 10 expected ERAs. There should be runs today. Brew Crew -1, just fading Senzatella. This guy, he's going to give up so many hits. Angels first 5 over 1.5. I think they're able to get to Ryan Pepio. They should be able to put some hurting on a couple of fastballs. We could see this happen in the first inning. And then last play is going to be Cards and Pirates over 7.5. Just kind of fading Fedde and Mitch Keller, who haven't looked very stellar to start the season. So those are going to be my 4 best bets. And then our fun parlay is going to be Dodgers, Brewers, and the Mets. You could throw in an underdog parlay, something like that if you want to, but it's getaway day. It's a little wild. We've got cold weather. It's interesting baseball right now. So we're just going to go with those 4 best bets. Appreciate you guys tuning in, joining the Discord. It's absolutely free. Post a lot of good information in there as well. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.